outstanding this season. But Chelsea Gray has been a problem for the Connecticut Sun as LA won the regular season series 2-0. It will be up to Breon January and Jasmine Thomas to try to slow Gray down.
They're going to give it another chance on the jump ball. My Forsberg in there to toss it up between Jones and Anigwe. Connecticut in the darker uniforms tonight. And we are underway as Parker chases it down. The Sparks, the 3rd seed, Connecticut, the number 7 seed.
And both of these teams come in banged up, Pam. I mean, Jasmine Thomas, who's playing on the ball, has been playing through pain with a plantar fasciitis injury. Weiss just back after missing time with an ankle injury. So players are banged up right now, and we'll see how, in particular, those two respond here in the first few minutes.
And a jump ball right off the get-go as Chelsea Gray is tied up. And you mentioned Chelsea Gray. Boy, kind of an up-and-down season this year, but season-high 27 in one of the games against Connecticut. And has really hurt them. Began her career with Connecticut in the WNBA and really blossomed with LA. Parker, tough shot with the shot clock winding down. Anigwe can't gather, and Connecticut gets the basketball.
And keeping in mind, you know, as Holly mentioned, missing Neko Bumake, she's a 5-time all-defensive team member in the WNBA. I mean, she's one of the best defenders in this league, and so you are really missing her presence and her awareness on that end of the floor. Again, it gets a tough Connecticut interior.
Really such a smart player, great leader. Sykes off the back rim. Jones corrals the rebound, gets it over to Breon January, one of the new faces on this team. Jasmine Thomas has it cup out. Coach Kurt Miller told us about how he keeps an eye on Thomas, the way she is moving on the floor to decide when to take Jasmine out because her feet are hurting her. Parker, fade away, got it.
And that's where Candace Parker has the advantage because she's long and she has a couple of inches on Alyssa Thomas. So expect her to try to get into the post and use that size advantage down low. Candace Parker is just silky smooth. She sizes up Alyssa Thomas here, gets cut off, but it's that fadeaway. That is Candace Parker at her best. Fading away, looking like Dirk.
That is something that is almost impossible to defend, especially when you're talking about Parker, who is 6'4".
She just creates space so well on that move.
Bonner can't get it to go, but Brianna Jones a little bit too strong, and he might get Bonner.
And that is another area of focus for LA tonight, is keeping Connecticut off the offensive glass. We saw the damage that they did the other night against Chicago with their offensive rebounding. 17 O-boards in that win.
Bonner did indeed pick up her first foul of the game. Sykes, good look. Anigwe with the putback.
And LA is not a team that gets a high volume of offensive rebounds because they like to get back in defensive transition. So that is a much needed extra burst for Christina Anigwe and somewhere that she can contribute.
Bonner was way too much on that pass. There's a good look at Anigwe in her second year out of Cal. Played some with Dallas after Connecticut chose her, and now finding a home in Los Angeles. Was a double-double machine when she played at the University of California.
I love when they play this song, when they play Snoop, you know, the whole West Coast deal with LA on the floor. Never mind.
They're the, oh, that's sweet, but Parker couldn't finish. Anigwe, nothing doing. LA is the home team. It's a neutral site, which we've talked about, but one of the advantages of being the home team is you get your home music.
Well, that was definitely West Coast, Pam. Get your notebook out. Let me teach you a thing or two here. I like Anigwe's activity early on the offensive glass.
They're going to need all that energy as she fills in for Agwumike. Gray with the miss. And here's Alyssa Thomas, who just does about everything for this team. Playing with two bad shoulders, partially torn labrums in both shoulders, so she doesn't shoot a jumper. Jones, maybe anticipating contact.
Really good defensive possession by LA there. They guarded multiple actions, did not allow Alyssa Thomas to make a move off of that screening action with Jasmine Thomas. They were all over the place.
So 8 seconds to shoot. Connecticut has missed its first 5 shots tonight. Jones with the spin, gets it to go.
Yeah, she missed a couple early in this one. Looks that she would normally make, but got that to go.
Jones in her first 3 years in the league averaged only 3 points per game and 8 minutes per game, and scoring in double figures as a starter this season. Sykes to the rim.
What a season for Brittany Sykes, a player that came to LA and has just blossomed with some veteran players around her. She's been mentored by Simone Augustus and just looks like a different player this season.
Thomas rolled to the rim. Alyssa Thomas. Sykes can play at a great pace.
Connecticut is usually a team that's very efficient in the paint. They have missed some shots in the lane early. Big one from the outside for Breon January.
Breon January knocking it down from long range. Didn't play until August 12th, her first game. She was diagnosed with COVID and has fit in very nicely with this new team. Parker draws the double quickly and a fadeaway. Bonner with the rebound. Luana Bonner finishes, leading this team just under 20 points per game, 3rd in the league this season.
She is so versatile. She can hit from the outside, the mid-range jumper, can get to the free throw line, something that she's been doing exceptionally well in recent games.
Getting there on average about 6 times per game. And then the bump by Alyssa Thomas.
And this is where I'm curious to see LA early in this, is on the offensive end. You're inserting Weiss back in. You have Anigwe, who's a different piece. And on offense, the last couple possessions, they've kind of been searching for some chemistry and continuity and where they want to go in the half court.
Eric Fisher's second year in charge of Los Angeles. Last year they went out swept by Connecticut in the semifinals. A rather infamous ending to their season in which Candace Parker hardly played at all in the 3rd and final game. It seems like things have been patched up.
They have really had a very nice bounce-back year, led by Candace Parker, who is in great shape. And how about Breon January? Not a lot of threes per game for the Connecticut Sun in January. And started to hit some shots at the right times, but she's capable.
Yeah, only Las Vegas hits fewer threes per game than Connecticut on average. Breon already has a couple tonight.
And she's got to hit those to open up the paint for Thomas.
And a travel called as we hit our first timeout.
When we talk about
the champion, Breon January's won a championship, and of course his team taking the Washington Mystics to 5 games last year, you can see the composure and the poise of the championship pedigree Connecticut Sun.
No doubt, Holly, and it was much needed for a team that I think just needed a boost after losing really the devastating fashion last year, coming back without Jonquel Jones. And I can't say enough about Breon January and the pedigree that she brings to the court. I mean, you saw it in Indiana defensively. She's a fighter. She always has been 6-time WNBA All-Defense. And then Bonner, who has played with arguably the best player to ever play the game, won 2 championships. I mean, they've seen a little bit of everything. And Essence Carson also has won a championship on that roster for Connecticut.
J.R. Ruffin-Pratt back in the lineup. Coming back from a shoulder injury, took steps. Luana Bonner coming over after so many brilliant years in Phoenix. And you mentioned Jonquel Jones. Boy, what a great player she is, but she opted not to play this season.
And also no longer a Courtney Williams on the roster either, so just a different crew. And they started out 0 for 5, but it was their experience that kept them lifted and encouraged, those players that had been in the battles.
10-0 Connecticut run, giving them this 12-6 lead over LA. No, Nneka Ogwumike, unfortunately out, has a migraine headache, not feeling well today, so a huge loss for LA. Jasmine Thomas, 3-ball.
And Connecticut definitely looks more intentional about what they're trying to get on the offensive end early in this one.
How about their 3 of 4 from three-point range, the Connecticut Sun? Quanah Williams reams out. LA continues to be cold from the floor, just 3 of 14. Bonner saw a little bit of daylight. Inigwe came over and blocked her shot.
Good job by Inigwe to also contest. But this is where LA's got to go. They haven't been scoring well in the half court. You got to push in transition and try to catch Connecticut slipping.
Well, a pretty good look for TRP, Ruffin Pratt, but couldn't finish. On January, in her 12th year out of Arizona State. Gets it into Jones, who is hammered and has a chance to shoot free throws.
Brianna Jones has been pretty much automatic, so if you let her get position where she can turn and score, you probably need to do something. In that time, LA fouls.
Upcoming WNBA national TV schedule on Sunday, a doubleheader on ESPN at 1 Eastern time. Las Vegas will play in one semi. Seattle plays at 3 Eastern on ABC in the other. Go to WNBA.com, visit the WNBA app. That was a look at the Minnesota Lynx, who had a 1-point victory over Phoenix earlier today. They are hanging around to watch this game, and we will all know once this game is over who they will play.
I mean, that emotion from Sylvia Fowles at the end of that game told you everything you needed to know. They had to grit and gut that one out.
Sylvia was in tears after the game, coming back after a 5-week absence because of a calf injury, and finally the drought is over for LA. Williams made the jumper to stop the Connecticut run.
Smaller lineup with Simone Augustus playing at the 4 position.
Augustus hits it over to Parker. Bonner collects the rebound.
Boy, they could use a big night from Quanah Williams because she's capable of heating up. And LA is in need of a spark right now on offense.
Kyla Charles, the rookie from Maryland, left open on the perimeter, and it's 20-8 Connecticut.
Who had barely met the three-point line in college.
Has added that to her arsenal now that she's in the pros, and boy, LA's not getting many second chances. Thomas with that unorthodox shot. We talked about she's got not one but 2 bad shoulders, so it's almost like she shot puts it and can do it with either hand.
Well, here's my thing. If you do it enough times, it doesn't matter how unorthodox it is. That becomes your shot. And that's her shot. That floater, middle of the floor, she's perfected it, and she can also use the glass.
Augustus can't get it to fall, and again, no offensive rebound for the Sparks. Connecticut can get the last shot of the quarter. Chelsea Gray with the foul on Jasmine Thomas out on the perimeter. Just 8 points for LA. Their fewest points in any quarter this season is 10. Not a good time to set a record.
They have played a little bit too much isolation ball here in this first quarter. They're going to try to figure out the right combination.
Bonner with the miss, but it's all Connecticut in that first quarter. LA with their lowest scoring quarter of the season.
Well, LA didn't score too many baskets in that first quarter, but this one was blazing for Quanah Williams. Whoops! Kylie Charles on skates.
Confidence all year coming in while we've been here. They just keep building me up, and I think that's allowed me to be successful.
Thank you so much.
21 starts for Jones. I believe she only missed one game because of injury, but she had not started a game in the WNBA prior to this season. Career highs in every statistical category. Boy, has she stepped up.
Yeah, career highs by a lot in every statistical category. Bonner hit the shot to start things off well for Connecticut. LA did not get to the line in the first quarter. They will now as Parker is fouled.
Well, LA needs to get to the line. They've got to definitely look to drive. Can't be a jump shooting team. But they've also got to find the right combination of players. Obviously, without Nneka Ogwumike, that does so much in terms of setting screen and creating spaces, and also just adding back into the flow Sydney Weiss and Tierra Ruffin-Pratt. It's just a lot of moving pieces for LA that can affect your chemistry and your continuity.
There's Nneka out with the migraine. Unfortunately, will not be able to play tonight. Her last 3 regular season games, she averaged 20 points and 7 rebounds. So that's a huge miss on both ends of the floor. Beatrice Montpremier putting Parker on the line. And you mentioned LA, 8 different starting lineups during a 22-game regular season.
I mean, that's a lot. And if there's one player that I would say I think was most impacted by that, it's Chelsea Gray. She's had to play so many different roles depending on who she's on the floor with. She's had to be the scorer. She's had to be the facilitator. Like, her role has really been in shift all year, which can be very challenging in trying to find that offensive chemistry and continuity. I'm not going to say that again, chemistry and continuity. Scratching it.
Well, guys, one of the reasons they've gone to so many different starting lineups is they have had a slow start problem all season long. Derek Fisher has inserted different people into the starting lineup to try to get off to a better start. You see another slow start for them today. One of the reasons we see Sydney Weiss in the lineup, they are better with her. She brings energy to them, and that has been the issue. He's got a lot of new pieces to this roster this year, and he has been continually trying to find the right pieces to get out to a quicker start.
You're right. Weiss has been that player that they finally found that I thought they had a solid lineup, and then she went out. And this is just a very, very slow start for LA. They need to find a spark.
Alyssa Thomas spins, lost her footing, and then lost the ball. Raquana Williams comes up with it. Sydney Weiss dealing with an ankle problem. Did get the start tonight. Parker taking things into her own hands, draws yet another foul.
And that's one thing that LA can use to their advantage is Candace Parker at the 5. Beatrice Montpremier right now is in the 5 spot for Connecticut Sun, a rookie, that she can take advantage of that matchup. And that's what LA has to do, be opportunistic about the matchups that are on the floor and how they can expose Connecticut in different moments.
Parker now 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Beatrice Montpremier, the second-round pick out of the University of Miami. Kurt Miller told us earlier in the season she's got a lot of talent, but not quite ready. Had a foot injury she dealt with in her senior year at Miami, and that's always a challenge.
I thought she was really good in her first playoff game the other night against Chicago. Solid.
11 good minutes for her in that. Brittany Sykes picks up her first foul for Los Angeles. LA, just to revisit that first half, they had a season-low 8 points in the quarter and only shot 21%, both season lows for any quarter this year. They have gotten to the line. 5 points from Parker at the line in this quarter. And a turnover.
Connecticut looking to force Sydney Weiss to defend there. They were going to probably go at her a little bit to test that ankle.
Parker going right at DeWanna Bonner and then gets it to Augustus. Nice dish, and that's one thing that Parker is so good. Second on this team in assists and 7th in the league.
She sees the next pass 2 or 3 passes in advance. Just ridiculous basketball IQ and outstanding vision.
Bonner nails it.
Can't gamble there. If you're Brittany Sykes, you got to stay in the play.
Connecticut already with 5 threes on the night. They only average 6 per game. Parker. So nice.
Boy. That's a beautiful move. Parker doing it all on her own here.
She's had to carry the load, and she has done it. And the rest of her team is struggling. She is in terrific shape after an injury-filled season last year that ended with that sweep by Connecticut. Thomas over to Bonner, gets it off just in the nick of time, but did not hit the rim, so it goes over to LA.
You forget sometimes that Candace Parker is so good in the low block because we spent a lot of time ooh-awing her in the open floor, but just flips it up between two defenders here, finds a good angle. Parker off the glass.
Kurt Miller, the Connecticut coach, talked about how she's overpowering people now because she is in such great shape, not just settling for the three. Complete package on offense again. Thomas got a piece of Augustus's arm.
Simone almost really got Alyssa Thomas there with a crossover. Couldn't get it to go back. No foul.
No, she didn't touch her.
No foul.
You're right, AT. She's right on that one. She didn't foul her. But officially she did. So here's Simone Augustus at the line. First 14 years with Minnesota, where she won 4 championships.
Still weird seeing her in that uniform, Pam. I don't care. It's been a whole season. Just we'll never get used to that.
Minnesota and LA with so many great battles over the years, particularly in the playoffs and the finals, classics.
Really good defense here by Brittany Sykes. She's had a WNBA all-defensive type season.
3 on January. She was 3 for 3 from the floor, including a couple of made threes. Gets the lead back up to 10. Parker working on Jones. Advantageous matchup quickness-wise, but Candace couldn't finish.
Breon January came into this game shooting at 29% from the field, 37% from 3.
How about better shooting from 3 than from 2? Only 29% overall, which is very unusual for her, but she's not missed a shot tonight. Taya Cooper with the miss. UCLA has not hit a three-point shot yet.
And look at January. Didn't get the rebound there, but that's the kind of effort she puts into every possession.
She almost allowed Charles to get it. Thomas drives because Las Vegas is the top seed. And if LA wins this game, they will play Seattle. Minnesota would play Vegas. So just keep watching. Connecticut up by 10.
There's not enough movement on the offensive end for LA. A little standing and watching here.
They've really been discombobulated. They actually have more made free throws. They have 7 made free throws and only 6 made field goals. 25% from the floor for LA. Good defense by Parker on Jones, who couldn't handle the rebound. Candace Parker with 9 of LA's 19 points this evening.
Chelsea Gray 0 for 3. Keep an eye on her, see if she can get it going here.
No points and no assists for Chelsea Gray.
And has only played 10 minutes.
Sykes gets the Inigwe screen. Good look.
She has that jump shooting ability, and we've been able to see more of it this year.
Whistle underneath.
Teaching moment here. Candace Parker with Brittany Sykes. Trying to peel her off of the officials.
Yep, Sykes picked up her second, and I don't know if you could hear her on them, but she said she's being physical too, wanting the refs to call it both ways. Jones bodies up against Parker.
Another really nice job by Parker using her length.
Now Inigwe just back into the ball game. Able to finger roll it home.
And that's what LA has to do. Take advantage of opportunities for transition offense. Candace Parker, the point forward.
They kept her busy while her team assembled. Then they told them that they had a meeting with all the referees. So they had cameras there. The whole team was set up around her. And Asia Wilson, bless your heart, you actually believed that there would be a meeting with the referees going into the postseason. Then Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, came in with the trophy. Asia was completely shocked. She had no idea. It was a beautiful moment. Then she called her mom and dad, Roscoe and Eva. They were so excited. It was a really cool moment to be there and watch her joy as she received that award.
It was such a cool moment, Holly, and you could hear her mom, Eva, on the FaceTime screaming. And we saw you in the background, too, Holly, capturing every moment. But I remember, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. I actually meant to look this up. But I remember at the end of last season feeling like Asia Wilson was not playing her best basketball down the stretch of Vegas's run in the playoffs. You know, there were some bright moments, but more moments where I was just like, I think she's got more. And boy, did she bounce back this season in a major way as the MVP. She was sensational on both ends.
Three-point play for Alyssa Thomas after she was fouled by Inigwe. Connecticut has led this game by as much as 16. LA got to within 6. But now Connecticut on a little mini run. Thomas. She's got 5 straight points for Connecticut.
Well, in the plan coming in, per Derek Fisher, was for Alyssa Thomas to see bodies. There were no bodies. They gave her way too much space to operate in the middle of the floor.
We talked about how difficult she is to defend. She's such a physical player. Nice run. Give the assist to Alyssa Thomas as she hit Bonner.
Just beautiful passing right there. I think Bonner's assists in this game, I don't know how many she has, but she has seen the floor well and gotten other players involved.
That's a nice line. 9, 8, and 5 for DeWanna Bonner. So it was a 6-point lead, all of a sudden back up to 13.
This is what you don't want to allow Connecticut to do, is to start to get out and run and get a piece of the paint. Thomas, so much attention. You had 2 players really dialed in on Alyssa Thomas and no one watching to see where the next offensive player was coming from.
This is big. Alyssa Thomas has just picked up her 3rd personal foul for Connecticut, so she should be out for the rest of the first half. She impacts so much on the floor, on both ends of the floor for Connecticut, who forced the turnover. Now, Kurt Miller told us he thought Alyssa should have been the Defensive Player of the Year. She does literally, right? She has guarded positions 1 through 5 this season.
Oh, boy. I mean, she is a tough out. If she is guarding you, it's going to be a long night. Teams run their offenses away from Alyssa Thomas to avoid her scrappy defense.
Ball deflects out of bounds, but stays with Connecticut.
But when you look at Connecticut's roster, Breon January, 6-time WNBA All-Defense. Jasmine Thomas, 4-time WNBA All-Defense. I mean, this is a team that has a defensive pedigree and has several players that they just work so well as a system defensively.
Seattle is the only team that allowed fewer points per game than Connecticut. Very stout defense.
Look at how many great defenders Seattle has.
Right. It's a team that is, in the last several years, just prided itself on defense. And Connecticut, there you see, you just referenced it, 13 combined selections on this club. And they are showing it. The statistics have borne it out.
And I like that those are voted on by the coaches, because coaches can tell you,
yeah, they'll know,
and their scouts, who they're running from and whose defense is they're attacking on every possession.
Weiss. Yeah, I think it's always, we do get to vote for other awards, and it's always kind of funny when we get solicited for all defensive, but we have no say in that, the media. Defensive Player of the Year, yes. All defensive team, no. That is voted on by the coaches, and they know better. Chelsea Gray with the ball in her hands. She has yet to score tonight. Big time contact with January. Did she draw the charge?
She did.
Yep. That's another thing that she does well.
Understanding where to be to draw charges, her timing in help position. Risked herself there because she did help off a strong side with Taya Cooper there.
Inside a minute to go in the first half. Bonner wide open. And the 3-ball has been Connecticut's friend tonight. Unusual. They've hit 6 of them. And the latest run is 10-0 after LA got within 6. Weiss, long 3. And now the shot clock's off for the Sun. Bonner going to take it all the way in, and the ball stays. I've never seen that. I've seen it get stuck between the rim and the backboard, but that puppy just stopped. Now, if it falls through during the half, should it count? Because she got it off before the buzzer went off.
Pam, if this had happened on LA side, I would have said, okay, this has been indicative of the first half of their offense.
Given it everything she has, but she needs some help from her teammates right now, particularly on the defensive end. And then one more thing, Chelsea Gray has got to get going. She has been the Batman to Candace Parker all season long, or I guess it's the Robin to her Batman. And Connecticut has done a terrific job on her defensively, whether it's Jazz Thomas or Breon January and Dewana Bonner. They have done a great job that she's got to get going.
And not only did Chelsea Gray not score in the first half, she didn't have any assists in the first half. So no assists for Chelsea Gray in the first half. Her team down big, but there is time remaining. The 23 points, fewest points in a playoff game for the Sparks since 2008.
Yeah, you just felt like LA came out very hesitant and tentative, and understandably, we just watched the Minnesota team that changed their starting lineup. Now LA comes into this game with a different starting lineup with Weesan and Nekagumake out. So sometimes you have to get a feel for what you've got. But at the end of the day, you've got to play hard. And there's Candace Parker setting the tone, matching those words with play to start the third quarter.
Parker having a tremendous season so far. Minnesota did beat Phoenix earlier today in our first second-round game. Alyssa Thomas a little bit short. And now Candace able to bring the ball up on her own. Alyssa Thomas able to punch it from behind. And that was one thing Chelsea Gray, as the point guard, Derek Fisher told us today that so much pressure is put on her shoulders. But when Candace rebounds the ball, that gives Chelsea a little bit of a break because Candace brings it up on her own.
You hear Candace out there giving direction, telling Brittany Sykes where she needs to be. Parker's ready for the second half. Let's see if the rest of her team is.
Boy, that was an ill-conceived pass by Gray. Christina Nigwe starting in favor of Nneka Ogwumike, out with a migraine headache. Brianna Jones with the bucket.
Got to be communication and transition defense there by the Sparks.
Sykes decides to drive on Bonner.
I mean, she's a blur. She puts the ball on the deck. She can get to the rim in a hurry.
Whistle, Thomas went hard, and Candace Parker disagrees with the foul call.
I felt like I heard the whistle blow before what I thought was a foul. Definitely some contact.
So the foul called on Parker. Sends Thomas to the line with that unorthodox delivery, hitting 69% of her free throws, however.
But again, there was definitely contact with the body on that.
Gray just totally surrounded by blue jerseys. And then Sykes airs it.
Well, one thing that LA can't be afraid to do is move the ball around, get lower in the shot clock. There's no rush to take a quick shot, and you don't always have to take the first ones available, especially when you're struggling a little bit. I mean, they had 5 assists in the first half. You need to work together a little bit to get higher percentage shots.
January clubbed by Gray. That's the third on Chelsea. And Chelsea Gray had a season-high 27 and a game against Connecticut. Connecticut lost both games to LA during the regular season.
And Kurt Miller felt like their defensive mistakes against Gray were correctable, and so far he's been right.
He said a lot of self-inflicted wounds in that game. The one in which Chelsea went off. Finally, Chelsea Gray gets some points. She had missed her first 4 shots. She still is looking for her first assist. Jasmine Thomas gets the friendly roll.
It's been hard for Sydney Weiss to kind of recover from screens. She just does not have that same defensive mobility that she had before her injury.
Playing on a bum ankle. Parker spots it up. January moves to her left. Nothing but gold jerseys underneath. Another rebound for Nigwe. Her 5th of the night. LA actually out-rebounding Connecticut in this game. Parker just picked up her second foul.
Parker saying, my bad. And she should have rolled on that in a different way to receive that pass and let Sykes know it.
The previous play is under review.
Roy Gobain.
The previous play is under review for a clear path foul. Possible clear path foul.
Roy Gobain, that's my Forsberg to his left. Billy Smith, our other official.
All right, let's go special. Let's go special. All right, let's do this. All right, work it. We still got screener in the middle. Screener in the middle. All right, our ball down here.
After review, the call on the floor stands. Common foul.
That took very little time to determine it was not clear pass.
Which is shocking. It usually takes a long time to determine the clear path foul.
Good job, Roy.
We appreciate you.
That is a second on Candace. Donna Williams back in. There she is, number 2 in gold. Back in for LA. Jones quickly passes out of the double and gets a rebound. Boy. Donna Williams called for the foul. Eric Fisher, his second year in charge of the LA Sparks. Got a couple of votes as Coach of the Year. An award won by Cheryl Reeve for the 3rd time. Joe Lambier got the 2nd most amount of votes. Connor, too much spin. Sykes. Well, you're right. When she decides to go, she is quick.
And everyone's got to have that mentality for LA right now. It's just to really attack. When you have an opportunity in transition or off of ball reversal, half court, yes, be patient. But in transition, try to get to the free throw line, get to the rim.
Good way to get points when the clock isn't running, especially. Foul was on Bonner. Her second.
You can't say enough about the future of Brittany Sykes. I mean, this is a player that suffered multiple ACL injuries in her career, and yet athletically she is one of the most gifted players that you will see in this league. I mean, the number of shots that she has blocked of 6'9" Brittany Griner, whoever else wants a piece. I mean, she's really special defensively, and she can shoot it. She has not done it as consistently early in her career, but I think LA will be her best basketball.
Wow, that is a terrific. Was that Jasmine Thomas into Alyssa? Able to just wriggle the ball around the defenders.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Winner advances to the semifinals. That best-of-5 series starting both of them on Sunday. Anigwe with the finish.
Anigwe played some really good minutes. I mean, she has finished a couple of buckets around the rim. She's gone to the glass to make herself a factor. This is where Jasmine Thomas started to assert herself in their first-round game against Chicago in the third quarter.
Very decisive third quarter. They outscored her by 16 points.
You see the defense. I was going to say, right before that foul, you see the defense of Jasmine Thomas that Holly alluded to, really not giving Chelsea Gray much breathing space, recovering well off the screens, not giving Gray an angle to the rim. I mean, she's getting into her body here. She did get called for that foul, but then even if she comes off of that, you've got Alyssa Thomas, a great defender, waiting for Chelsea Gray. Oh, that was a beautiful delivery.
Anigwe was fouled by January. Timeout on the floor.
Well, this time Chelsea Gray did see bodies in the lane, but this is what she does so well, finds the open player. Perfect no look to Anigwe. Oh,
and we out here just going through the motions like, yeah, I'll have another game next year, or yeah, I'm getting ready to go overseas, or yeah, I'm getting ready to. That's not right. That's not a commitment to the team. Everybody sacrificed to be here. It ain't nothing to hold back.
Really great sound there from Derek Fisher. Just saying, hey, we're going through the motions out here. Like, what are you saving it for? This is an elimination game. This is a win-or-go-home situation. And really pointing his team, let's step up. Let's give some energy. And they do come out with in a defensive stance here. I mean, they have some talent to be competing right now.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent. This is a team that had the third best record in the league this year. But they did struggle against teams with winning records, just 4-6 against teams that were above 500, including 0-4 against the big dogs, Vegas and Seattle.
Yeah, I understand. You're missing a big piece in Nneka Ogwumike. But you got to play hard with the pieces you have out on the floor.
Jones sticks her hands in to force the jump ball, and boy, it's so unfortunate that Nneka's not playing. The numbers don't speak for themselves. She gives the team so much more when she's out there.
Absolutely. And just while we're talking about Nneka, what an incredible summer for her in general. I mean, having to really be the lead on so many aspects of making this whole bubble situation even come together. As the president of the Players Association, leading voice in the fight for social justice for this league, she deserves to definitely be playing in this moment and enjoying the game of basketball. You hate to see her out right now.
Just a couple of games with a bad back, and Nneka attributed it to stress. She said that she holds stress in her back, and to say the least, with all of the things going on off the court that she handled beautifully. We were working tonight when teams decided not to play. She was there in the middle of it, talking to everybody, in control, and just a lot on the shoulders of her off the court as well as on the court.
In LA, in games without Nneka Ogwumike this season are 1-3, so they have struggled.
Yeah, no coincidence.
She has not been out on the floor.
Yep, she is tremendous. Another former most valuable player. Again, if you're just joining us, she is out, suffering with a migraine tonight, just didn't feel like going. And it's really a shame. Even if you're not a Spark fan, it's always nice to see her play. Jasmine Thomas.
Good screen there by Bree Jones. Jasmine Thomas just can't get it to go.
We got a good look on that shot.
LA looking to really run their offense a lot through Sykes in the transition, but there's Chelsea Gray again looking for that interior pass. That would have been that's a long pass to make.
That's chancy. Chelsea Gray still has 0 assists tonight. Average about 5.5 per game, 5th best in the league this season. How about Vandersloot averaging 10? The first ever to average 10.
Awesome.
Way to go, Courtney.
What a season for Courtney Vandersloot. Hate that it got cut short, but boy, she gave us some amazing, memorable moments.
In Chicago, when DeShields and Azare Stevens unavailable, that really hurt them.
I like that call, though. Chelsea Gray didn't get anything there, but put her in the post. She has a big, strong body, much bigger than Jasmine Thomas. Let her use that advantage close to the rim to get an easy score.
That's a way to get her going. She's 1 of 6 from the floor now. Rebound to Williams. Tries to get him going. Sykes likes to shoot from the corners. Inigwe tried to corral it, but instead poked it out of bounds.
Again, we go back and forth with that conversation as you see the three-point field goals, 0 for LA. I believe they're first in the league in field goal percentage from long range. Not able to hit it tonight, but go back to the conversation. Is it the team that is fresh, that has had a chance to rest, that's more comfortable in this second round game, or the team that's already won one in Connecticut has been the aggressor?
Because these are teams that are used to playing every other day. LA has not played since last weekend. Connecticut with the win over Chicago about 48 hours ago.
And again, Jasmine Thomas stayed in front of Chelsea Gray, did not let her beat her. Keep in mind that Jasmine Thomas is playing on a bum plantar fascia, and that can be a very painful injury. The only thing that heals it is rest.
Alyssa Thomas put a star by that assist. Bonner with the bucket and a chance at a three-point play.
That's been the kind of night for Connecticut. Even with the defense sagging off Thomas, she finds space to make that pass, just threads the needle. Team loves it. Hey, let's not forget, I think Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis has a championship too. A lot of experience this season.
Seattle got a ring. Bonner with her 10th career playoff double-double tonight. Completes the three-point play. And the lead is up to 19. LA just 35 points. This is a team that averages 85 points per game. And you were right. They are the best three-point shooting team by percentage in the league at just under 40%. And tonight they are 0 for 12. Bonner's third foul here.
LA was looking to get Candace Parker in some isolation, maybe get some two-man game going between she and Brittany Sykes.
Simone Augustus in the game for LA. This is Taya Cooper who has the ball. Parker.
There he goes. First three-pointer of the game for the Sparks.
Parker hits it. Candace with 14 on the evening, but not getting enough from her teammates. Gray in transition, but Connecticut does a good job to get back. Gray gets it to roll.
But see, the ball movement. You come down in transition, you have a couple of players touch it, you get the ball reversed, shift and move the defense, and Gray gets to the rim.
Yeah, they are better in transition than when they set up in the half court. Thomas off glass.
But who's going to stop that?
So unorthodox.
Who's going to step up and pick her up?
Yeah. So they talk about getting her to go downhill. Kurt Miller, the coach, talked about that, having to create space for her to move.
6'2". She just makes a power move with the spin. Nothing you can do.
1:15 on the game clock.
You know, when you listen to the stories about Alyssa Thomas growing up, she wasn't one that was out in the gym doing all the dribbling, drills, and shooting. She worked a lot on her physique, weightlifting, getting her body, her mobility, her footwork, and that has really paid off. Not the most skilled player, but she has used that strength building to her advantage.
She was not very highly recruited, did not play a lot of AAU ball, went to the University of Maryland, which was not too terribly far from her home in Pennsylvania, and really is just, I mean, you're right, she is strong. I wouldn't want to get in her way either.
And that kind of fundamental strength that she built growing up, I think, has been the key to her success. She's always on balance, even when it looks like she shouldn't be. She finds a way to get 2 feet under her and get a strong shot up at the goal, but that was from a young age.
A natural right-hander who started playing basketball left-handed because I believe she had a relative who was a lefty, and she's an ambidextrous player. Certainly helps her now with the 2 bum shoulders. There she is.
And you see that change of speed?
Essence Carson, the wily veteran from distance. Cooper guarded by Jones. Big height advantage, but the double brought by who else? Alyssa Thomas. As Cooper decided to drive on Jones, but Thomas came over to help. And now she can set up for the last shot of the quarter. Brianna Jones, nothing doing, and then Parker, with frustration, heaves the ball. It is a 19-point advantage for Connecticut.
Pam, would you believe me if I told you this team started off the season 0-5?
No way.
Wow, the Connecticut Sun ready to go. Bonner, Thomas.
Already 533,571 taps for this game. At the end of the game, you can tap to pick your MVP of the matchup. See if other fans agree with your standout player of the game. Bonner has a double-double. Alyssa Thomas has been terrific. Alyssa Thomas just picked up her 4th foul, however, but they're hitting shots like that. It's January.
That pass has been there so many times tonight on that baseline. And Connecticut hasn't hit that shot every time, but just good ball movement.
Parker draws the contact and has a chance for a 3-point play.
Candace Parker's going to have a say before the final buzzer in this one. Gets a smaller defender on her, splits the defense, takes the contact. Just a nice move there by Parker. And oftentimes tonight she's had to take on 2 and 3 defenders because there are really no holes. I mean, Connecticut is really putting 2 or 3 bodies in front of Parker and around her at all times.
Parker was 16, the only spark in double figures tonight. Shot clock winding down. Carson needs to shoot. Alyssa Thomas hustles for another rebound. Jones turns. And the ball stays with Connecticut. They'll have 4 seconds to shoot.
Brady Jones insisting that she got fouled there. Officials say that the ball was knocked out of bounds.
Alyssa Thomas. Here comes Candace. Thomas guarding, and Candace draws another foul.
Like the activity early in the 4th quarter from LA, looking to get to the free throw line, being aggressive.
That is 5 fouls now on Alyssa Thomas.
Parker chose the right player to attack.
Shooting 2.
Anticipate that Thomas will lead the game, and indeed she will, in favor of Dwana Bonner.
One time.
Candace gets them both. 16-point deficit, just over 8 minutes to go.
Good denial on the wing by Tara Ruffin-Pratt.
Ruffin-Pratt with not a lot of playing time tonight, but at least she is coming back from a shoulder injury. Charles picks up the ball that was lost by January.
Good defensive possession. No Alyssa Thomas on the floor. Connecticut had to search a little bit offensively.
Ruffin-Pratt in and out. Connecticut wins this game. They will play Las Vegas on Sunday. If LA comes back to win, they get Seattle.
LA's got to continue to attack. I think they found the right formula in trying to get to the rim.
Parker has done most of that work. Cooper passes out to Simone.
Except for if you're Simone Augustus. You have permission to shoot that jumper.
Yeah, anytime. Augustus, that was an app. If this result holds, Vegas will play Connecticut, and Seattle will play Minnesota.
All credit to Crystal Dangerfield for changing her mindset and really coming out tough in the second half. But I will say, I think Phoenix missed Shea Petty. She started tonight's game to be a defensive matchup against Dangerfield, and when she left, there was just a difference in the defensive intensity for Phoenix, in particular, guarding the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and that's remarkable to think that you would say that about Shea Petty, who was brought in by Mike Tebow a week before the season to come into the bubble to play for Washington. They eventually released her. She was in the bubble. Phoenix picked her up. She beat Washington with the last-second shot on Tuesday and was really, as you said, did a terrific job defensively on Dangerfield before she took a knock to the head and tried to come back in the second half. Petty could not play, and Dangerfield went off.
The game of basketball is really about matchups.
Yeah. Who's
available? If you can take advantage of a matchup, or you got someone that's a better guard. I mean, it's a chess match.
Bonner still so quick. She's going to be frustrated she didn't finish. In her 11th season out of Auburn. Has 3-year-old twins.
I know. Can you believe that she has twins?
No.
I mean, to be a mom, to be a basketball player, to be in this bubble.
And the children are not in the bubble.
I mean, these women are just amazing in all that they balance.
Tell you, talk about multitasking. Look at that line, too, for DB.
Not as efficient as she would like from the field, but the free throw line is where she makes up for a lot of it.
Also has a block and 2 steals on the evening. 16-point advantage for the 7 seed Connecticut. Jones, good rebounding position to get inside of Parker. Again, Los Angeles, 1 of 15 from 3. They were the best three-point shooting team percentage-wise in the league, second best in field goal percentage. And they're only shooting 31% tonight. It's been just a disastrous offensive showing.
But she can always do that.
Yeah, she can still shoot, can't she? Simone Augustus.
How valuable in having Simone as a part of this LA Sparks team. I mentioned earlier she had been mentoring Brittany Sykes, telling us that she was helping her to learn how to conserve her young energy. But just having won 4 championships and what she can teach these players, beautiful pass there. I mean, that's what Connecticut has done. Even with the crowding defensively in LA and sending several players there, they've been able to find their chemistry is just really great.
Donna Jones, the 4th Sun player in double figures tonight. Parker and Augustus have combined for 28 of LA's 50 points. Another nice look into Jones, but Augustus got the block.
Okay.
How about Simone?
Simone's turning it up. Derek Fisher heard him in that timeout saying, leave it all out there. This is a single elimination game. with a chance to advance. And here, the late rotation, but Simone makes up for with the length on that block.
5 seconds to shoot. They only needed one. And it was an air ball by January. Sykes kicks it out to Parker, who had space but was looking to pass.
No one home on the wing.
Gray.
This continues to be a frustrating night for Chelsea Gray.
Chelsea Gray, just 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting, and we're still waiting for her first assist. So how much credit should we give to Connecticut's defense versus LA's lack of execution?
It's been both. Really great.
Brianna Jones, the 4th Sun player in double figures tonight. Parker and Augustus have combined for 28 of LA's 50 points. Another nice look into Jones, but Augustus got the block.
Okay.
How about Simone?
Simone's turning it up. Derek Fisher heard him in that timeout saying, leave it all out there. This is a single elimination game with a chance to advance. And here, the late rotation, but Simone makes up for with the length on that block.
5 seconds to shoot. They only needed one. But it was an air ball by January. Sykes kicks it out to Parker, who had space but was looking to pass.
No one home on the wing.
Gray.
This continues to be a frustrating night for Chelsea Gray.
Chelsea Gray, just 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting, and we're still waiting for her first assist. So how much credit should we give to Connecticut's defense versus LA's lack of execution?
It's been both. I mean, when you're a player that is as good as Chelsea Gray, there really isn't a defense that can completely shut you down, in my opinion. I think great players always get theirs. But not to take anything away from Connecticut, they have definitely made it tough.
Well, when we talked to Kurt Miller, he talked about that 0-5 start for Connecticut. He said, but the one thing that we knew we could count on was his defense. They have so many great individual defenders, but their team defense has come together. You always talk about gelling this time of year. This Connecticut defense has been fierce. This has made a really good LA Sparks team, the higher seed. Look poor tonight.
Contrast to the last time they played.
Yeah, I mean, she was 27 points. Look at the efficiency there for Gray as well, but in the absence of Nneka Ogwumike, LA has a big three. Candace Parker has done everything she could, but Chelsea Gray has just not had it tonight.
Thomas with the steal. Challenges Sykes, who fouled her. And worth reiterating that Nneka Ogwumike was not available today, dealing with the migraine, and that is a big miss for them, for Los Angeles. And there's Nneka. She just, yeah. I think she's feeling worse right about now. So the semifinals are shaping up. Game 1 Sunday on ESPN at 1 Eastern time. That's 10 Pacific. It will be Las Vegas, I'm going to call it. They're going to play Connecticut. And then on ABC on Sunday at 3 Eastern, it will be Seattle against Minnesota, barring an improbable and it may be impossible comeback by LA. In case you're wondering, Las Vegas swept Connecticut and Seattle swept Minnesota in the 2 games during the regular season.
Yeah, those will be interesting matchups. I mean, Connecticut, in the way that they are playing defensively, what a challenge that will be, though, taking on the Aces. I mean, Asia Wilson, the MVP, and then all of the pieces for Vegas that have played have improved offensively, including De'Erica Hamby, who's had a great year. Good shot there by Taya Cooper on that skip pass. But Vegas is, to me, as good defensively in stretches as they are offensively with their pieces. I mean, Jackie Young's better and improved on both ends, and Danielle Robinson can pressure the ball, but also has given them a little bit of offense.
And Danielle Robinson playing very well at the end of the regular season. Puts them into high speed, and let's take a look at the matchup. As we mentioned, Vegas won both by at least 15 points.
Yeah, Kayla McBride coming on as well, finding her stroke towards the end of the season. How about Vegas finding a three-point shot? So that's really going to challenge Connecticut, the way that Vegas was hitting the three, but also obviously getting interior scoring. What a matchup that will be.
Connecticut has found its three-point groove tonight. They've hit 8 of them. Usually, in fact, they are the 2 least productive teams as far as threes per game, made threes per game, but they will meet up coming up on Sunday. Connecticut playing its best basketball of the season. I think that's pretty safe to say. Here's a number 7 seed that's going to get into the semis.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Curt Miller. I mean, I just don't think we give him enough as a coach and what he does from a player development standpoint. Even when you go beyond their core players who have played well together defensively, offense has been slower to come about. But think about Kyla Charles and how important she's been as a rookie in her development throughout the course of this year. Bree Jones being ready to step in, as one of the most improved players in this league. I mean, that comes from Curt Miller, his system, his staff, and how they are able to get the pieces on the same page. And I like the addition of Breon January. I think that is probably underrated. And bringing Bonner in.
And remember, they were just 1 win away from winning the championship last year. Jasmine Thomas buries it.
And that's something that Connecticut hasn't forgot about. Alyssa Thomas talked about it in her post game the other day. I mean, they're still thinking about losing in the finals and know that they're capable of making a run this year.
And incredibly, again, after an 0-5 and 1-6 start in a 22-game season. It was the season was already almost a quarter over, and they had not won a game yet. And here they are, a minute 21 from a semifinal matchup. Sweep, but she has had a tremendous season, and what a frustrating and disappointing way for Los Angeles to go out.
And to not do it fully healthy, that's always a tough pill to swallow. Missing Nneka Ogwumike, just getting Sydney Weiss back in the fold, just getting Tierra Ruffin-Pratt. I mean, many of the teams that are coming in have had the same lineup all season. What did we say? LA's had 8 different lineups.
8 different, yep.
I mean, that's in a short season. It's just really tough to get your rhythm in those situations. And not taking anything away from Connecticut, because their defense has definitely dictated this game. But the LA had some odds stacked against them coming into tonight.
Yeah, and then when you heard that Ogwumike wasn't going to be able to play, the odds got a whole lot worse.
Those were the odds.
Connecticut has emptied the bench. It's now 73-57. Connecticut up by 15. Heidemann with the ball. Breon January is the only starter still out there. We see Teresa Plaisance. There's Charles, you just mentioned her, back in the game.
And Natisha Heidemann's development as well. I mean, she has been a bright spot in stretches for Connecticut. Getting them to this point has really taken full effort of every player up and down the roster. Even their bench that you saw a lot of excitement from. I mean, this is a team that believes that they can make a deep run, and they've seen their improvement. They've been in the trenches, and they've dug themselves out.
Curt Miller said, we were built for this. Veterans with playoff experience, getting January and DeWanna Bonner during the offseason. They weathered the storm, that 0-5 start. Coming in as the 7th seed, they've taken out Chicago and now Los Angeles in succession. And the Connecticut Sun next will play Las Vegas, coming up 1 Eastern time on Sunday. Minnesota takes on Seattle at 3 Eastern on ABC. Alyssa Thomas has a lot to smile about, as she had another great all-around game, 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Parker with another double-double, but just not enough for LA. They got out of the gate slowly, literally their worst quarter of the season in the first quarter, and they just couldn't dig out of it.
Yeah, they just never found their rhythm, never found any connectivity. On the offensive end of the floor, shorthanded, as you see Nneka Ogwumike walking off. Just a tough way for LA to go out.
So DeWanna Bonner and Connecticut moving on to the semis. DB is with Holly.
All right, thank you.
All right. Much respect among two real veteran warriors out there tonight. And DeWanna, this is your first year with Connecticut. Your team started 0-5. How did you not lose the faith and finish like that with a trip to the semifinals?
Man, that's a gritty team I'm with. Starting with Alyssa Thomas, she just gets us going. Just to get us going. We just knew that we would come out here and play that same defense that we bought into, that we were going to come out on top. And they beat us twice already in regular season, so we knew we wanted to get it back.
Part of this was the defensive mindset.